I'm so excited for today's live. We're here with Jeremiah with Guild Mortgage, and we're going to talk about what's in the horizon for this upcoming 1 to 2 years. And I'm so excited because there's just a lot of news, a lot of updates, and we kind of want to talk about it. But before we do, Jeremiah, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the people here on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn who you are and what you do.
Hey, yeah, thank you for the introduction. My name's Jeremiah Eck. I'm a loan officer, as you mentioned, with Guild Mortgage, and that's what I do. I do the home loans and all the crazy different things with strategizing and financing options. We even do budget meetings and credit repair, and it just goes on and on and on and on. So I'm excited to talk about whatever we're going to see.
Yes, we'll definitely cover some recent developments in the city. There's been major project announcements, right? Infrastructure changes and how housing trends can evolve. So, a little bit of tips for buyers, sellers, investors navigating this dynamic market. So, Jeremiah, what are the things that you've heard so far? What's one or two things that on top of your mind?
Yeah, no, like with all of the things that are going on in uh northern Nevada, right? Like we were talking about like the GSR and then like all of the new builds, and then I feel like every time I drive somewhere there's some new construction happening. And I know that's because there's so many people that are moving to the area. So I feel like a lot of different types of buyers are in the market. We have investors that are trying to buy like multifamilies and different types of like manufactured homes. I've started to sell a little bit more. And buyers, in terms of first time buyers, are also getting really, really good deals because we're in a good time to buy. We have like higher inventory than we've had in a longer time, right? And lower rates than we've had in a long time. And so people are getting some good deals. And I think it's a good overall moment to begin looking at your plans if you're either an investor or a first time buyer too. And I think home price is pretty interesting in our market, right? Because we have had a lot of homes, appreciate in value in terms of just the different areas that we have. Much more than a lot of other markets. And so I think that a lot of people think it's more expensive in some ways, but I think it's just finding the right deal.
Oh, absolutely. Have you noticed like a up with the certain types of buyers? Have you noticed people coming from like California or different states?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like a lot of people that are buying in Nevada, especially, are from out of state. You know what I mean? Last year specifically, we did the numbers on all of our clients that relocated, and it was a
Mhm.
big number. It was about 38%, if I remember correctly, of people that we helped. And that's significant. So I would assume that you guys probably see the same thing.
Oh yeah, because I do open houses almost weekly, and I've noticed a lot of people from the Bay, specifically, are looking for homes because either one they're moving here, or a couple that are looking for investments. So I'm like, wow, there's a lot more of people from California kind of just looking and seeing what's here because I feel like there's more jobs coming and opportunity for investing.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
crazy because there's more multifamily that you can kind of see every now and then, and there's good deals with like assumable loans that a lot of people are looking into, and like getting second mortgages to pay the difference, and all these cool things that are happening because of what's happened with interest rates and what's happened with home prices. So I feel like people have had to get really creative on how to make numbers work. You know?
So there's one thing that caught my attention when you said assumable. For anyone that's viewing now or later, explain a little bit what does assumable mean and who
Yeah.
can qualify.
It's a good question, right? So when you buy a house, and if you use like an FHA loan, or if you're a veteran and use a VA loan, your loans are automatically assumable, meaning that if you go to sell your house in the future, a buyer can come along and say, I want to take over that mortgage for whatever the reason might be, right? Let's say it's got a really good interest rate, which is what a lot of people think right now, right? If your rates
Mm-hmm.
are sitting at 6 and 7%, and you can get a loan that's an FHA loan at 2%, some people are like, that seems really attractive, right? So you can take over that loan without refinancing it and all that kind of good stuff. But you have to figure out, the seller has made money on that, right? If they bought it for 100,000 last year, maybe it's worth 120,000 this year. That's a big number, right? But that difference has to be figured out somehow.
Right.
But
Mhm.
that's basically it.
I love it. You're totally right. But I love because that's actually the reason why I was like, wait, let's explain because there's people that ask that, can I assume it, because they see a lot of the rates from a couple years ago that were in the threes or so, like, hey, can I assume it? But there's additional data that you need to know in order to do so. So if you
Hmm.
want a little bit of guidance or step by step on, okay, understanding what assumable is, contact Jeremiah.
Yeah, just just call me. We'll figure it out.
Yes.
So,
There you go. I mean, I
uh,
can help too, but he's the expert in loans and he'll be able to break it down for you. Um, and then as far as like home pricing, it's been very interesting because for the last couple months ago, it was going up, 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 up. And then about 1 to 2 months ago, we started seeing a decrease. So why is it important? It's important because it is a buyer's market. It is really a good time to dip now before the boom, right? Do you see that happening for Reno?
Yeah, I do. I think, our business is very seasonal in some ways, right? So like I feel like we're getting into like what we would naturally and traditionally call like a slower season. It's like the winter months, like the holidays, like the kids are in and out of school, you have Halloween, like all these things between like September, October, November, December, and then like after New Year's people kind of start to go, okay, well, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to buy a house, I'm going to budget, they get back on their kind of plans. And, we start to see things pick up like typically like end of February and then all the way until, like I said, like September, October, right? So I think when we talk about like the boom, if we look at appreciation and then also how much rent has increased over
Mm-hmm.
year over year, right? So, like last year in 2024, rent increased on a national average by 6%. So, that's pretty significant. And home prices increased also or appreciated by, I think it was like 5 point something. So, right, very similar in line. So, if we know for a fact that every single year rent is going up and every single year home prices are going up, and then home prices increase, more specifically in certain periods of the year, but naturally just continue this uptrend, then we're just continuing to like shoot ourselves like in the foot, right? If we're not like making a move, because one way or the other, something is becoming more expensive. So I think for Reno specifically, all the jobs that are coming here, right? Like you said, like Apple and Google and Switch and Tesla and Panasonic and all of the new developments with what are they called? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. The commercial like
Mm-hmm.
warehouses and all that stuff, Amazon, all that's going to add more, of course, like economic growth, but also need for housing. So there's no reason that housing in Reno and that kind of stuff is going to continue to like decrease at all. So I think your kind of question of if it's going to come to Reno, I think it definitely is and kind of has in some ways.
Absolutely. So, for the ones that have been kind of like thinking about it, now's the time to really educate, see what's in the horizon. The data, the news doesn't, is out there. So if you want more clarity, you can always reach out anytime and we'll be more than happy to explain. And even though it's like maybe a condo or a townhome, it's still something where you can build throughout the years. Something to just get your foot in the door. If you're already renting for about 2,500 or more, like I'm having clients come in and own, property in hopes of in a couple years from now we're gaining that equity to where we can go ahead and move on to a single family. Your first home does not mean it's gonna be your dream home. It could be just your stepping stone, where I feel like a lot of buyers are stuck is like, no, I want this, that, but let's, you know, be realistic. See your situation as it is and then move towards that direction, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like the gym, like you want to own a home or you want this kind of physique or whatever it is, like you just got to figure out the plan and like stick to your steps, right? And that's the same thing with home ownership. I think of
Hmm.
it as like a savings account. Even if like home prices dipped, right, by like 10% or whatever it is, like you still have equity in your home theoretically if you've been making
Yeah.
payments and had it for a couple years. Like home prices are going to come and go just like anything else, but traditionally it's always increasing. And so I would rather put money into an investment of some sort that I know I could return on, regardless, like you said, if it's a condo, a manufactured home, not a manufactured home, stick built, like whatever it is, just get into it.
Oh, 100%. So, yeah. So, with the Grand Sierra Resort undergoing the billion-dollar expansion, with USA Parkway expanding business, Tesla semis going on, um, it may be a good time to really jump and make the move and see what's best for you and how you can build wealth in the next couple of years. So,
Yeah.
real estate can definitely help and do that for you. So, other than that, do you have any final words?
No, but reach out to you or me if you have any questions. And I think we'll do this again like every week, right?
Absolutely. So, where can people reach you?
You guys can text me, or you can go online and just Google me, and look me up. Or you can go to the Instagram. It's just my name, just Jeremiah.
Yay. Okay. Till next time. Hope you all have a wonderful day and bye.
Okay, bye.